Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on our little YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined by our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
Good morning, everybody.
And thank you guys so much for being here. I am, of course, in the van. I'm somewhere in Northern California right now, on my way back, of course, from doing the movie meetups, which I had a great time, and I should be home tomorrow. I should be doing the show from my home studio tomorrow is when I should be back by. I'm looking forward to that. And listen, guys, here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. Now, listen, when Jonathan is at his home studio and I'm on the road, we're going to take questions via Super Chat. So normally for the John Campea Show, you send in questions to our tip link, and I will get caught up on all the tip link questions on tomorrow's show. But when Jonathan's doing the show from home and I'm on the road, we take your questions via Super Chat. So if you're watching the show live, and you do have to be watching live to do this, and you're in the live chat, you can use the Super Chat feature to send in a topic, question, observation, theory, whatever. And as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With that down, let's get things started, and we're going to get things kicked off with this. So Marvel Zombies has now dropped a 4-episode series. Marvel Zombies has dropped, which is obviously a kind of a continuation of what we got in What If with the whole zombie apocalypse stuff. And this one's been kind of highly anticipated amongst people who watched and liked What If. Now, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't love What If. I think What If definitely has a few chapters that are pretty damn good. But overall, it was take it or leave it. I'm not really a big fan of it. I thought the second season was even a step down from the first one. But I was still very curious about this Marvel Zombies thing because, man, the trailers look pretty cool. So I settled in last night once I got off the road in the van here, got myself a bowl of ice cream, filled up my cup with some Diet Pepsi, and put on Marvel Zombies. And it was okay. It's okay. It's not, I think I actually liked it better than What If overall and in general, but it wasn't great, but still it was okay. I'll say this. If you break down Marvel Zombies into its basic outline, like say a 5-page outline, it's actually a really cool idea. Now, Jonathan, you might want to pop up a spoilers warning on this.
Sure.
Yeah, let's put up our little warning here for spoilers. So, because I am going to go into some details here, but the whole idea of starting with a number of different groups, and this isn't new for them either, and then they kind of come together and then continue on the big kind of mission and journey, what have you. It's kind of a neat idea. And I really like the fact that it starts off with Kamala Khan, Ironheart, and Kate Bishop. I like that it starts off with them. And you know what? I really like the chemistry of those 3 characters together. I really do. And so I was kind of bummed out when they broke that team up a little bit early on. And then, you know, their choice of characters that they decided to use, you know, decide that they're going to use Shang-Chi and they're going to use Red Guardian. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Red Guardian. I absolutely love this character. And the fact that they use Yelena, they use a lot of the newer characers.
And is it the original actors' voices?
Some of them are. Some of them aren't.
Okay.
Like I remember, oh God, you know, I hate this kind of clickbait.
Right.
I came across this one headline. Marvel officially recasts Chris Hemsworth Thor
in an animated episode.
And then it's like voicing him in an animated episode. Yeah. I'm like, fuck you. Anyway. And I hate that. I hate that so much. Anyway. Yeah, so it starts off with a really neat idea about what the MacGuffin of the series is going to be and what the general story is. And then they get to the end and it's like, oh, the whole purpose of their mission was pointless. And by the time they get to the end of it, it looks like, you know, Scarlet Witch is the big villain of the series. She's the queen of the dead. And when it gets down to the end of it, it's just like, oh, So Scarlet Witch is just trying to do what she did in WandaVision, but on a much bigger scale. Oh, okay, sure. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of really cool fight scenes and a couple of really cool action scenes. Moonblade, or whatever they're calling him, Blade Moon Knight, the Vessel of Khonshu, the vampire Vessel of Khonshu, very cool character. Good dialogue. The action scenes he had were great. I really enjoyed it. Very interesting concept they have with Hulk in it. Their Hulk kind of angle in it was pretty good. But it just kind of feels like the outline is there, and they kind of didn't pay attention to details after that. Like after that, I was like, oh, this is a good outline. But, you know, relationships weren't really developed. Themes didn't really come together. So again, listen, overall, I didn't mind watching it. I think I liked it more than What If. And there's definitely some big positives. Some of the action sequences are great, all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that Ms. Marvel is kind of the centerpiece of the whole series because I love Ms. Marvel. I love Iman Vellani. So I kind of like that she's the main kind of character of the series.
Right.
And Shang-Chi, obviously, because I love Shang-Chi. But overall, I just felt it was a little half-baked. I felt like they had the tent pole, like the main, you know, kind of road markers that they wanted that would make for a good series, but they just didn't really flesh it out. You get it, zombie movie fleshed out. Anyway, I just didn't feel like they fleshed it out. So would I recommend it? I would say this. If you like the Marvel animation stuff, I think you're going to like Marvel Zombies.
I will say the what ifs, the zombies one was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think the zombie episode was one of my three favorites. Was the zombie episode in no particular order. The zombie episode, the Hank Pym episode, I still think was
that one was so revealing, really.
That was my favorite episode. Yeah. It really was. This whole idea of, oh yeah, gods and superpowered beings and all that kind of stuff. But the guy you got to be worried about is the smartest guy in the room. And I loved that. I really did. I like that Hank Pym's the guy who takes down the Avengers. I thought that was awesome. And then the other one, the third one that I really liked, again, these are in no particular order, was the Dark Doctor Strange.
Because of that art.
I thought that was that was really good. That was a really good, well scripted, well plotted out episode.
Yeah.
But for every one episode of What If that I liked, there were two or three I either didn't like or went, I could have done without it. So yeah, again, for Marvel Zombies, I think it's worth watching. If you're not somebody who liked What If at all, then I don't think you're going to like this one either. But overall, I thought it was okay. I mildly enjoyed it. I don't regret watching it. And anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to watch Marvel Zombies yet? It's just 4 episodes. If so, what did you think about it? Did you like it more than me? Did you like it less than me? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh, you know what? I went out of order. You know what? You're right. You were right, Jonathan. Let's try that again. Let's try that again, shall we? I was jumping topics a little bit too quickly. Well, let's jump over to Jimmy Kimmel, shall we?
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, you guys know, made his return the other night, a late night talk show. And apparently the ratings were through the roof. This comes just from the folks over at The Hollywood Reporter who wrote the following. Jimmy Kimmel draws record ratings in return from suspension. More than 6 million viewers tuned in for the late night host's first show back, which wasn't available, get this, which wasn't even available in 23% of the country due to affiliate blackouts. The return of Jimmy Kimmel Live from ABC imposed suspension drew big audiences Tuesday night, the show's largest ever for a regular episode. Despite not airing in about 23% of the country's TV homes, because remember, Nexstar and Sinclair are sucking up to the FCC right now because they want to have a couple of mergers that are technically illegal to do, and they want to get FCC special approval, so they're kind of licking the boots of the FCC right now. Anyway, Due to blackouts at 66 ABC affiliate owned by Nexstar and Sinclair, Tuesday's episode drew 6.26 million viewers based on preliminary Nielsen figures. That's the largest tune-in, save for a couple of special episodes, in Jimmy Kimmel Live's 22-year history, and more than 3 times higher than the show's average for the second quarter of 2025 before Kimmel's annual summer break, when guest hosts fill in for him. And by the way, his opening monologue drew in 16 million views on YouTube in the first 24 hours. This is, I mean, obviously huge. I mean, he's averaging about 2 million, drawing in the biggest audience that he's ever had for a show is significant. But the thing that really strikes me the most is the fact that he drew these record numbers while not being on 20-something% of the screens.
Right.
So the record would have been even higher had he been on in the entire country. Now, the question this raises for me, because I'll be honest, I've thought about this before, is what is the place of late night talk shows these days? I mean, back in Johnny Carson's day, I mean, that was like late night talk show. That was it. If you were in entertainment, your entire goal of your career was to get on Johnny Carson. David Letterman kind of continued. Then the era of David Letterman and Jay Leno, and then the early Conan O'Brien days. And now in our modern stints with our Seth Meyers and our Jimmy Kimmels and our Jimmy Fallons. And, I don't know, well, last week tonight's once a week, so you can't really count John Oliver. But it really makes me wonder about, is there still a place? Because like for the last couple of years, I don't really watch late night talk shows. I used to. A bunch of years ago, I would watch it. And it's not that I didn't like them. It's just that I didn't really see a place for them. And the fact is, celebrity interviews bore me.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped doing them when I was at AMC. Like everybody thought, oh, John, you have the coolest job in the world. You get to go and interview all these stars. I'm like, you know what? I thought it was cool too, until you do it for a while and you realize this is boring,
right? And
we don't get anything out of it. Nobody cares about celebrity interviews unless you're sneaker shopping or eating hot wings while you're doing it.
Right.
That's cool.
Well, those are a little bit deep. Oh, that it kind of etches towards, I think, what you're going towards though, toward podcasty and YouTube. It's not network. It's different.
Yeah. And you get, with like things with hot ones, you get much deeper discussions.
Exactly.
That makes it more interesting. But celebrity 5-10 minute celebrity interviews don't mean anything.
Right.
If anything, I've like tuned in and watched some highlights a number of times a week on YouTube. Like I'll load up YouTube and what funny thing did Seth Meyers say, or what funny thing did Jimmy Fallon say, or something like that. But I've really fallen out of watching shows like that.
I think it's a lot of people.
And so, yeah. But to see that it still draws in the millions, and then to see Jimmy Kimmel's return to be the highest rated one he's ever done. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize that Jimmy Kimmel's show was still drawing over 1.5 million viewers per episode. I mean, that's higher than any CW show. Well, just about any CW show.
That's
and a lot of network shows.
And that's the thing that you bring up. It's like, when this first happened, people were like, it's just the ratings. It's just coincidental. It's the ratings.
No. He still had ratings.
It's like, you know what? It's not just the ratings, because just like you said, there's other shows that have been on for years and they have lower ratings. TV, cable and network as a whole is sliding. It's not just like his show was an outlier, so they had.
Like cable.
They had to cancel
cable television is dying, right? Like we've known that for years. Like I feel like every couple of months we do a story about how now a new record mark has been shown that people are using their televisions to watch streaming, YouTube, things like that, way more now than cable TV. Remember last year it actually passed it. People use their televisions to watch streaming stuff more than they watch cable, and now it's just growing more and more and more, and that's really the way the things go.
Yeah.
But it I guess just for me, as somebody who's been wondering about, like, all philosophies and politics and whatever aside, I've not really watched late night talk shows a lot, but apparently there are still a lot of numbers who do.
Yeah.
And the fact that this one drew in 6 million views, I guess maybe there's still a place for late night talk shows. I just though wonder, is there enough of a space for there to be like 5 late night talk shows? Right? Like maybe it'd just be better if it was like
2.
I don't know, back in the days where you had Jay and Dave.
Right.
Like maybe you have Jimmy and Steven, or you have Jimmy and Jimmy, or you have Seth and Jimmy, or something like that. I just wonder if there's enough room. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Jimmy Fallon's return show drew the highest ratings his show's ever had, with over 6 million views, plus 15 million plus views of his monologue. Does that surprise you? I have to admit it surprises me. I guess there's more of a place for late night talk shows than I thought, and maybe still more people watch them instead of like me just on the YouTube clips. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to play a little round here of verses. We jumped on our YouTube channel a little bit earlier and asked you guys to submit some scenarios about what would you like to see matched up against each other for me to adjudicate for you which one is better and will come out on top in the versus ring. You guys sent in a bunch. Jonathan's got them picked out there. So, Jonathan, what do we got?
All right. First up on the verses, John, who are you going to choose when we hear from Andy TU, who says Brad Pitt in F1 versus Tom Cruise in Maverick?
You know, these are two great performances. They're really good because, listen, I love Top Gun Maverick. You guys have seen my review of it. You know I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it broke any new ground narrative-wise. It's Star Wars. It's the original Star Wars movie.
It was 100% Star Wars.
Yeah, 100% the original Star Wars movie, but in American Air Force fighter jets. And you know what? It worked. And it worked great. But what really put it over the top for me was the performance of Tom Cruise. And while Brad Pitt's performance gives the heart and soul to F1 as well, I love that movie too, I'm going to say Tom Cruise's performance in Maverick takes it. Again, that's not slighting Brad Pitt's performance in F1. I thought his performance was great. I thought he carried the movie. But Tom Cruise, in an otherwise pretty plain narrative, jumped in there and gave it some heart. And that scene with him and Val Kilmer,
oh my gosh,
was performed. And listen, that's just because Val Kilmer later died. No. That scene with him and Val Kilmer was portrayed perfectly.
Had he not been sick, that still would have been an amazing scene.
It still would have been an amazing scene, and it would not have been as much of an amazing scene if Tom Cruise didn't kill it. Val Kilmer killed it too, absolutely. But Tom Cruise, I just think that puts it over the top. So both of them are great. I love both of these performances, but I'm going to give the nod to Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick. All right, what's next?
Okay, next up in verses, who are you going to choose now, John, when we hear from Netflix Marvel versus Disney Plus Marvel? Who made better content?
You know what the funny thing is about this? My first reaction, I think everybody's first reaction is going to be, oh, Netflix's, right? That was mine. But no, it wasn't. I'm going to go with Disney Plus Marvel, and I'll tell you why. Yes, Netflix's Marvel content back in that era had Daredevil, and that was awesome. It was great. I really like Punisher too. Like I actually extremely like Punisher. But everybody forgets Iron Fist sucked, and Iron Fist season 2 sucked. And The Defenders was okay. And Luke Cage sucked, except for the first half of season 1. Right. The entire rest of Luke Cage sucked. I mean, so yes, when you think Netflix Marvel, you think Daredevil, but we didn't. The question isn't Daredevil. The question is the totality of Netflix Marvel. And Netflix Marvel was very hit and miss. It just was. Daredevil was great, and I really like Punisher. But nothing else they did was great. And I mean, I didn't particularly like Jessica Jones either.
I like season 1. That's just me. A lot. I like season 1 a lot.
Like season 1. Yeah, I didn't really like season 1. Had a great villain, but there was no character development or growth, because when you got to the last scene of the last episode, she's right back to the very same thing, same attitude, same outlook on life that she had at the beginning of the show. It's like, so we had no character growth. We had no character journey. Anyway. Now, when you look at Marvel on Disney Plus, it's hit and miss, right? Now, because they've got Secret Invasion, which was terrible. They had Echo, which was terrible. And they've had a number of things that just didn't work. But at the same time, they had the Loki series. They had WandaVision, which is still the best thing they've done. They had Ms. Marvel. They had, I mean, they've had a number of things on there. They had the new Daredevil season. So I'm going to say both were very hit and miss. Right. Agatha was surprisingly good. X-Men 97 was surprisingly good. She-Hulk, not so much.
But you know what? It's not on there, but I would even take the Hawkeye series over like Iron Fist on Netflix.
A lot of people liked Hawkeye. I mean, I kind of I didn't hate it. I kind of didn't like it myself.
I was
but
in
a lot
the middle.
of people liked it. I think a lot of people were. So I think both the Netflix and the Disney Plus era stuff were both, I think it's fair to call them both hit and miss. But I'm going to give the edge to the Disney Plus one. Neither one knocked it out of the park. But I'm going to give the slight edge to Disney Plus Marvel.
All right.
What's next?
All right. Our third one up. Who are you going to choose here, John, when we hear from PG, Superman versus Iron Man? Which movie was better in terms of starting their respective universes?
That's a really good question.
Well, it's really hard, though. Because we have 2020 on Iron Man. We know what that did. We don't know what Superman.
See, we have the results of that, right? We've got 15, 20 years of the results of that first Iron Man movie. Whereas with Superman, we don't have any of the results in front of us. So we got to theorize.
Right.
I'm going to say this. On the one hand, Iron Man wasn't much of a cinematic universe starter. I mean, it's awesome. I love Iron Man, the first one, but it's very isolated. That might be one of the things I love about the movie. It's very isolated.
If you didn't have that stinger at the end.
Well, yeah, listen, it's literally just Tony in a world where there's nobody exceptional.
Yeah.
It's Tony being unique in the world. That was a time and a place in the MCU where there weren't 20 or 30 superheroes running around fighting crime. There weren't 1,000 superpowered beings. There weren't mutants and Inhumans and whatever else running around and all these people with powers. And it was very isolated. It was truly an Iron Man movie. Yeah. And then a post-credit scene thrown in for good measure. I'm starting something called the Avengers Initiative. Whereas Superman is very much designed to be the beginning of a cinematic universe.
I don't know how you got him to sound like he's like a New York gangster, but I'm starting the Avengers.
I'm starting the Avengers.
We could do the Avengers the easy way or the hard way.
So I do a perfect Samuel L. Jackson. I have,
forget about it.
But you know what? Until we see the proof otherwise, and that's going to take us a few years, you got to go Iron Man. Because we've seen the results. The results are the biggest movie franchise in the history of cinema with, I don't know, $700 billion films at this point. So we know the results. We know it's a huge win. So, I mean, let's ask this question again in 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. But for now, I got to go with Iron Man in the MCU. All right. What's next?
Be a real shame if something happened to this Avengers Initiative. We got fourth verses up here. Who do we choose here, John? When Aaron DC says Viggo Mortensen. Oh, this is tough. Viggo Mortensen in Eastern Promises versus Viggo Mortensen in History of Violence.
Oh, screw you.
I mean, I have. It's yours to answer, but I kind of have an answer. But
I'd love to hear yours.
I think performance-wise, you have to go with Eastern Promises. I think it's a deeper and richer story as well. But, man, there's a special place in my heart for History of Violence. I walked into that movie not seeing a trailer, not really knowing what it was about, and it blew me away, History of Violence.
Wasn't, I'm forgetting the actress's name, the one who plays Superman's mom in Man of Steel. Wasn't she his wife? Wasn't she Viggo's wife in History of Violence? I think she was.
I remember there was a real saucy staircase scene.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, all jokes aside, that honestly, like without it being too explicit or anything, Maria Bello.
Yes.
Without being too explicit or anything, that steamy scene on the stairs, without anything too explicit, was seriously one of the more steamy passion, like raw passion feeling scenes of that likeness I've ever seen. Like seriously, his performance in History of Violence, everybody's performance in History of Violence.
Right.
I believe it got 1 or 2 acting nominations at the Oscars, as a matter of fact.
And this thing had Ed Harris and William Hurt in it.
Yeah, and William Hurt, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but I think William Hurt got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in it. And he was only in like 3 minutes of the movie or
Very
something
little.
like that.
He didn't have a lot of lines.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think William Hurt got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in it. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, but I think I remember that being the case. But I got to go with you. Eastern Promises. Like his performance, that honestly, the movies that will define Viggo Mortensen's career are obviously the Lord of the Rings films. But I think the movie that defined him as a performer might have been Eastern Promises.
You know, there was something about that I kind of learned just cinematically. Is that scene in the gym,
the steam room or the gym room, the change room? So brutal.
It's like, I never really thought about it, but you're exposed, but the audience feels like if they had been clothed, I would have felt more secure in the fight. Like, oh, he's got it. Something about removing the clothes and making yourself that vulnerable, you feel like anytime that knife is going to hit him and kill him. There was something about being nude in that scene that changed it from being clothed. It just made you feel vulnerable as an audience member.
It made it feel more visceral too. Like it really did. So yeah, I'm anyway, both performances are outstanding. I'm going to go with Viggo's performance in Eastern Promises.
All right.
What's next?
We're quickly moving through these now, John. So I think we're on to our 5th question. Who do we choose here? When we hear from Dingus McNally, better movie catalog, Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman? So this is catalog.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody asked me that once a couple of years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, ooh, that's close. Because, you know, you look at the movies Morgan Freeman's been in and it's like, it's just legendary and iconic and all that kind of stuff. And Denzel Washington. But honestly, I gave it some more thought a couple of years ago and I've come up with a different answer now. It's Denzel Washington.
I agree.
And the reason it's Denzel Washington is because most of the big films we'll look at on Denzel's list, the star of the movie is Denzel Washington. A lot of the iconic great movies on Morgan Freeman's catalog, who is an Academy level actor in and of himself. I've met Morgan Freeman. I love that guy. I think he's amazing. But most of the bigger, higher profile films on his list, he's a supporting actor in it. Denzel's leading those movies. Morgan, every bit as brilliant, is supporting in those movies. And so because when you're looking at the catalog, the ones on Denzel's list are the films that he actually leads, I'm going to say Denzel Washington. Again, they're both brilliant. They're both insane. I love them both, but I'm going to go lean towards Denzel Washington on this.
And I think there's just more variety with Denzel. Like he's done everything from Shakespeare to like action films to, you know, just like family films. It's just a little more diverse of a catalog. All right, so moving on, we go on to, I believe this is our 6th. It might be our 7th. John, who do you choose here when we hear from Fardagaz, who says Andor versus Penguin?
Oh, that's good. Because I think Penguin is the greatest comic book television series ever. Not only the best thing DC's ever done, I think it's the best thing ever. It's just incredible. But I'm going to say Andor. Because, and of course, Andor just won that big first comic book series to win the major Emmy of best writing for a series. So good for them. But the reason I'm going to say Andor is they're both great. Love them both. But Andor is not just the best thing Star Wars has ever had on TV. Andor is the best thing Star Wars has done in decades, like in 30 years. Like there's the original Star Wars trilogy, and then there's Andor. Nothing Star Wars has done has been remotely as close to good as Andor is over the past 30 plus years. Whereas Penguin might be the best thing DC's done on TV, but it's not the best thing any DC's been in the movie screen to and all that kind of stuff. It's great though, nonetheless. But yeah, I'm going to give the nod on that one to Andor. Yeah, Andor takes the one on that one.
All right. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Okay, so our final one. Who do you choose in this matchup when we hear from Valerie Walker? Better trilogy, The Dark Knight versus Captain America.
You know what? I remember being asked this specific question back in the movie talk days. And I'm going to give the exact same answer. Okay. It's Captain America. Now, the Dark Knight trilogy has both the best movie out of the 6, you know, the 3 Batman movies, the 3 Captain America movies. Out of those 6 films, Dark Knight is the best film, I think. Dark Knight's the best one. But the Dark Knight trilogy also has the worst film out of the 6, The Dark Knight Rises.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
And when you look at Captain America, so Captain America, The First Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Captain America, Civil War, I think all 3 of those movies, particularly Civil War and Winter Soldier, I think are in the conversation of the best comic book movies ever made. Obviously, so is The Dark Knight. Dark Knight's a top 3. But pure consistency, overall extreme high level, I'm going to go the Captain America trilogy. And listen, if Dark Knight Rises, which I don't think is all that good, to be honest with you. I mean, it's good. I misrepresent that. It's good. It's good. But it's nowhere near the level of Batman Begins or The Dark Knight to me.
Yeah.
Right? So if it had been on kind of that somewhere in between Batman Begins and Dark Knight, then I would probably say the Dark Knight trilogy, but it just doesn't have the consistency that the Captain America one did. And so I'm going to give the same answer that I gave about 7 years ago. The better overall trilogy as a complete package, I believe, is that Captain America trilogy. I know that's going to probably be an unpopular answer, but I believe it's the right one.
It's hard to beat Civil War as the capper, so.
But, you know, Civil War, and by the way, I think Captain America, The First Avenger is the third most underrated comic book film of all time. I think obviously the most underrated comic book film of all time is Henry Cavill's Man of Steel. I think the second most underrated comic book film of all time is the Kenneth Branagh's first Thor movie.
I love
but
that
I think
movie.
And I think the third one is Captain America Winter Soldier or Captain America First Avenger. That movie is tragically underrated. That is a brilliant film. But anyway, there's that. And all right, guys, that'll wrap up this little session of Versus. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in topics for us to bat around on there. Keep your guys' eyes open on the channel for when we put out calls for you guys to send in submissions, and we'll pick out a few to use on the show. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this now, shall we? I jumped the gun on a little bit earlier. Now we get around to it. Marvin Jones has been cast to play Tombstone in the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day. And this is significant for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think Marvin Jones is great. I particularly took notice of him. Now, he was recently in the Halo series. He's only in like 3 or 4 episodes, and he was pretty good in the Halo series. But he was one of the absolute best parts of the CW show Black Lightning, where he played the villain Tobias. Tobias Whale, I think was the character's name. I honestly think, and you know me, I really liked most of The Flash. I love the first few seasons of Arrow, all that kind of stuff. I think Tobias was the best villain they had on CW. I loved this guy. Anyway, that's one reason why it's really interesting. The second reason this casting is really interesting is because in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made, maybe the best Spider-Man movie ever made, he did the voice of Tombstone in that animated movie as well, and now they're bringing him in to play the live-action version. Deadline writes the following. While production on Spider-Man Brand New Day has been paused for a week after Tom Holland suffered a concussion on set, casting on the project continues as Marvin Jones III has been tapped for the role of Tombstone, sources tell Deadline. Reps for Sony declined to comment, and reps for Marvel couldn't be reached. Jones comes to the new live action Spider-Man after being taped to voice Tombstones in Sony Animated's Oscar winner Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as well as the threequel Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is forthcoming. All right. I love this. Now look, I have never been one, nor am I now, one of these guys who believes if you're doing a live action of something that's been animated, you should get the person who did the voice in the animated. I'm not one of those guys. But because you take that out of it, take out of it that he did the voice in the animated thing, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just pretend Marvin Jones didn't do the voice in the animated thing. This announcement comes out just in a void. I love it. I think he's great. He's got this presence about him. And most importantly, man, he's got this voice. Mm-hmm. He's like, I remember last year we were talking about this, is like, we had an entire generation of these iconic voices in Hollywood, right? Like James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, a few guys like that. And Jeffrey Wright, I would add to that as well. But like next generation of actors, we don't really have anybody with these big iconic voices. He could be one of them. Marvin Jones could absolutely be one of them. He's got this rich, authoritative, powerful voice that when he speaks, I just want to listen. And he's a big dude. So you take the fact that he was in Into the Spider-Verse out of the equation, I just think on its own, this is great news. Because I also thought he gave a terrific performance in Black Lightning. Again, I thought he was one of the big strengths of the show. As extra seasoning on that, the fact that he also happened to do the voice in Into the Spider-Verse, that's bonus.
Right.
That's bonus. Again, I still don't believe that if you're going to do a live action thing of an anime, you should go out and get somebody who did the voice in the animated. I don't really believe that. But it is just an extra little bonus on top of it already being a terrific casting. Now, I've already heard the crows on the power lines going, "Oh no, the movie's getting overcrowded now." Why is it in every damn movie that comes out? At some point, people start going, "Oh, the movie's overcrowded."
It's not like it got overcrowded now. This is the script. This is the story. We don't even know what the story is or how long anyone's even on screen.
I mean, I'm going to bring something up here, okay? I'm going to bring something up. Well, because they'll go, now it's got this character, and it's got this character, and it's got this character.
Yeah. Well, I guess new. I guess not Brand New Day. No Way Home, I guess, is just absolutely awful.
We were just talking about Eastern Promises, right? Mm-hmm. We were just talking about Eastern Promises. Let's see how many people are in Eastern Promises. Oh, look. Oh my God. And I don't hear anybody going, "Oh, there's too many people in the movie." The only difference is that in these comic book movies, when side characters are put in, or secondary characters, whatever, the only difference is that, you recognize the name. But just about every single movie has a cast of about 40, 50, 60, 70 people in it. It's just that in most movies, they're completely new, made-up characters that you don't recognize the name, but these characters, you recognize their name. It's not getting overcrowded. So can we just stop that, please? Can we just stop it? This whole overcrowding thing, it's just because they said the same thing about Fantastic Four is getting overcrowded. Listen, even the people who didn't like Fantastic Four, and most people do like it, I never heard one complaint of people actually saw the movie saying one of its problems is that it's overcrowded. No, it wasn't, but that's all people talked about beforehand. It's all people talked about when Superman was coming out. It's all people talk about anyway. So let's just put that one to rest. But personally, guys, I love this casting. I'm so happy this guy is getting a role like this. And again, we don't know if this is going to be a big role, because Into the Spider-Verse is a relatively small role. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be a relatively small role in this live action one too. Doesn't matter. I love that they got him for it. Question is for you. What do you think about it, guys? However you feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, Let's move on to this, shall we? Well, you know, back at CinemaCon, we got our look at the first trailer of Avatar: Fire and Ash. And then not too long ago, they dropped the first trailer online. Well, guess what? They just dropped another trailer. And while the first trailer I thought was visually very good, didn't exactly overwhelm us or anything. And I'm all right. That was just a first trailer. You know, they just dropped a new trailer, guys. And it's fantastic. It's jam-packed.
Yeah.
With this trailer, Jonathan, is so packed that when it was over, I went back to the YouTube page because I thought like it was like a 4 to 5 minute trailer. And then I went back and looked. No, it was a standard 2.5 minute trailer. No. But it felt like there was so much in it that it just felt like it was longer. You know what I mean?
Music was better. I enjoyed this trailer immensely. So much more than the first trailer. Now I'm because I was gonna go see this anyway, and I'm like, once it's on the screen, this trailer doesn't sell it, but I know it's gonna be great. This shows me like a more of a glimpse of what I'm about to experience.
Well, right, and that's kind of the pattern, right? With trailers these days. Normally now, first trailers are just here's a little bit of a feel for this new thing we got coming. It isn't normally now until like the second or third trailer that they start telling you what it's about and give you more context for everything. And they got into that with this, starting right off with the leader of the fire people saying the fire came from the mountain. By the way, I love her accent.
I know, right?
The fire came from the mountain, burned our forest, and we cried for help, but Awa did not come. Just in that one statement now, we know the deal of these people. Why they are the only Na'vi to completely reject Awa and all this kind of stuff, why they're getting away, why she has a hate on, she wants to see the world burn and all that kind of stuff. Now we just like that, we totally got a full picture of it. And then they introduce all types of subplots going in there, right? The water elements are still there. We see, what's the name of his flying thing again? Poruk?
Oh,
Poruk, the one that wasn't in the second movie, but it was totally badass in the first. See that he's back.
Right. So
that looks great. We got Quaritch is back. Like, you want to watch the world burn? You're going to need me. And then out of nowhere, they introduce this like radical subplot where the little human kid is now able to go around without his air mask on. And then we go to Sully going, if humans can come here and and they can just breathe the air, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. So it's like, that just kind of came out of nowhere. So what's going to lead into that? And what's going to, the visuals are great. The action looks stunning. The story elements sound really interesting. You know what it is? I've been trying to put my finger on it for years, and maybe others have said this, and I just haven't noticed it. You know what these Avatar movies really feel like to me, especially now this third one, when you get into like all these different narratives and the whole mythology of Awa and everything. You know what it feels like to me, Jonathan? Did you ever play the Final Fantasy games?
A little bit. I'm not as big on turn-based as you are, but yes.
Yeah, like especially like Final Fantasy VII and stuff like that. This whole thing, I mean, it's not the storyline of Final Fantasy, but it feels like a Final Fantasy story. It feels like the kind of story that Final Fantasy would tell. And that works for me. That works for me very well. Just look at the visuals here.
That's what I was on this image. Because I have a follow-up to this. So the thing that Jimmy C does is like, he shows you something cool and you think that's great, but you don't realize his finger's on the dial and he hasn't gone to 11 yet. So even in a moment, then it's like, oh, wow. That is amazing, It's like the way he progresses scene from scene. It's just incredible.
So now it's just a matter of... Yeah, by the way, have we gotten a runtime? I don't think we've gotten a runtime on the movie yet.
Let me double check, but
I don't think it's going to be short. I don't think he's probably got a final cut done of it yet. So we probably definitely don't have a runtime yet. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say 3 hours. I'm not saying it should be 3 hours. I just have a feeling with everything I've heard.
As of now on
James Cameron say
on Box Office, it says 3 hours and 12 minutes. How accurate that is, I don't know.
Yeah, because we're still... I don't think he's got a final cut done yet.
So it'll be interesting
but
if that
again,
changes. But it says 3 hours and 12 minutes as of right now.
yeah, it'll be over 3 hours. I have very little doubt it'll be over 3 hours. So anyway, we'll see how that goes.
This
Anyway,
scene,
guys.
this scene right here, real quick. I was like, oh, is this The
Oh,
Last
yeah.
of Us? She's getting the fungus.
Yeah, well, no, that's Awa.
Yeah, it's Awa's spirit. Yeah,
that's the human kid, isn't it?
yeah. You know what? Until just now,
Or
yes,
is that
it is.
I can't even tell. Is that the human kid or one of the Navi?
No, because
kids?
that's the kid. That look at his hair.
Okay,
And that could
is
be
that
why
he can breathe?
Right, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, I thought the trailer was fantastic. I really did. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think of the new trailer for Avatar Fire and Ash? Did you like it as much as I did? Maybe you didn't like it all that much. Maybe you're excited about the movie. Maybe you're not. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to take a few minutes and take the live questions that you guys have fired in. Again, if you want to fire one in, go ahead and use the super chat feature. There's only a few sent in, so we might be making the show pretty short today, which is totally good with me. So anyway, Jonathan, what do we have up in the questions?
Okay, first up, I'm going to start at the top because I forgot to scroll. John Darius says, hey, John, I'm currently reminiscing on old films I loved, and man, I really miss Man of Steel. Do you think we'll get a Superman reboot after Gunn in the far future that may be on par or rival it? Oh, well, like another reboot beyond this. Yeah.
Yeah, like after, 15 years from now, after the James Gunn DCU is done or whatever, could we get another reboot? Oh, dude, that's not even a question. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It's Superman. Superman will be rebooted again and again and again and again. The question will be is how long till they do it, but they will at some point. Could we get one on the level of Man of Steel? Well, I think Superman is on the level of Man of Steel. I mean, Man of Steel is still my favorite by a little bit, but the new Superman is definitely on the level with it. But I still give the slight edge to Man of Steel. That's still my favorite one, but I love the new Superman, and I think it's absolutely up there with it. So 100% that we will get another Superman whenever the DCU is done. 100%. Whether they'll do another great one eventually, because Superman will be rebooted 30 or 40 more times until the sun goes out. And at some point, we will get one that will be as good or better than Superman and Man of Steel. So, yeah, I think it'll come. It'll come. Okay. All right, what's next?
Dr. David Yo says, huge fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
What about Raymond?
Oh yeah, well, I'm starting at the bottom now, so I'm going to go up.
Oh, okay. Now we're starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah. So huge fan of Lord of the Rings trilogy. I feel like you guys have answered this before, but why didn't anyone get nominated for acting awards for The Two Towers or Return of the King?
Because the acting branch of the Academy determined that there were 5 actors in each category that were more deserving than the ones in Lord of the Rings. It's no more and no less complicated than that. Yeah. I mean, the acting in the Lord of the Rings were great. They were great. But the actors in the acting wing of the Academy determined that each of those years there were 5 more deserving recipients. And again, that's what makes the winning an Oscar so incredibly difficult. Is like if you're up for Best Supporting Actor, you're probably up against about 1,000 other eligible people. 1,000 other eligible, because every film will have 3 or 4 supporting actors, right? So you're probably up against 1,000 or more people, and it just so happens that the actors branch of the Academy, made up of actors, determined that in each category there were 5 more deserving recipients. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
All right, Raymond simply asks, how do you do laundry on the road? I mean, you've only been gone a week, so.
Yeah, so far I literally brought a little bit more than a week's worth of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So and when Ann and I did, Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, that was less than a week. And so we haven't had to do laundry on the road. However, in our upcoming trip to Buffalo, that's going to be like a 2-week trip.
Right.
Like to hit all the places we're going to hit between here and Buffalo and then work our way back. That's going to be like a 2-week trip. Fortunately, most RV parks, or at least a lot of RV parks, have laundry facilities.
That's cool.
So yeah, so you just got to go into, they'll have a little standalone building with laundry machines. And you just go in and do your laundry. So I will probably be doing our laundry at RV parks because that's generally where we stop for our overnight. So we'll just go in and probably do our laundry there. Good question though. Good practical question on the logistics of being in the van for so long. All right, what's next?
Kindness is Punk Rock says, thoughts on the new Wolverine game trailer. Have you seen that? I've seen images,
haven't seen
stills. I saw stills and they looked incredible.
Yeah, I just remember 2 years ago, I was at the Video Game Awards. Me and Dennis and my brother Spencer, we all went to the Video Game Awards, and they gave their first kind of glimpse of the thing. And it's been 2 years and nothing since then. And apparently now a new trailer's come out. But from what I read, because I haven't seen the trailer yet, what I've read is that it's not actual gameplay footage they show in this trailer, which then that doesn't tell you anything. Right. But I am going to watch it. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet. All right. What's next?
We got X-Men superfan Emma Frost. By the way, thank you. I think he gifted another membership today, so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for that, superfan.
So favorite Catwoman actress, Eartha Kitt and Zoe are mine.
You know what? It feels weird to say it in a world that Michelle Pfeiffer did hers. And I mean this honestly. I think Anne Hathaway was the best Catwoman I've seen. I really liked. They also gave more depth to her character.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people that I was like, really, Anne Hathaway is Catwoman? Totally won me over. So I'll probably say Anne Hathaway is Catwoman.
All right. And then Superfan is back, says Dark Knight Rises is a much better film than people give it credit. I agree. I don't think it's great, but it's not terrible like people say. It seems to be low-hanging fruit.
I don't think many people say it's terrible. Like, I certainly don't say. Let me look this up here. Dark Knight Rises, Rotten Tomatoes.
And I loved his performance as Bane, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, he does a pretty good performance as Bane. Listen, it's got a 90% audience rating. I don't think a lot of people say they hate it. But I just simply don't think it's, again, the bar we're measuring it against is Dark Knight and Batman Begins. Right. That's a high bar. That's a very high bar.
I have to give him,
I'm sorry, but I think it comes in considerably lower. Now it's still high, but I just think Dark Knight Rises comes in noticeably lower than the high bar of Dark Knight and Batman Begins.
And there are some things to consider because after Heath Ledger passed, he had to rewrite. So that wasn't his initial vision. So
no, but he had years to
yes, that's why
adjust,
I say give him some leeway. But yeah. All right.
What's next?
We got John Darius. Hey guys, I'm currently reminiscing on. Oh, so that's the one we started with. Super Nintendo Chalmers said, if you had to choose, which movie would you see, Pluto Nash or Leonard Part 6?
Oh my God.
I don't know if I really want to watch Bill Cosby anymore, so I'll go Pluto
There's
Nash.
A lot of complicated feelings that go into trying to watch Leonard Part 6. But honestly, it's also the worst movie. Listen, at least I'll say this. As bad as Pluto Nash was, there were a couple of moments I laughed. There were a couple of jokes that made me chuckle. There is nothing redeeming about Leonard Part 6. So I'll go with Pluto Nash on that one, on that very difficult choice.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay. Curtis Lopez saw an early screening of One Battle After Another, calling it it's winning best. Oh, calling it it's winning best picture. It's lovely old school filmmaking. Leo, Sean Penn, and Chase Infinity are getting acting noms for sure.
I am hoping, because I still got about 7 more hours of driving to get home. So I don't know if this is going to be realistic or not. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get home in time to run in, maybe eat something quick, and then head out to the theater and go see One Battle After Another tonight. Again, I doubt, I think it's just like a 40% chance I'll get home in time to do that. 40% chance I'll be able to get home in time to do that. But I'm hoping, because now remember though, it's still just September. We've got to, don't go around calling who's going to win Best Picture when we still got a lot of the big contenders coming. But I have heard nothing but insanely great things about this movie. And so I'm hoping I'm going to get to see it tonight. And then we'll see. Like, as of right now, I still think Sinners is the best film of the year. But maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe that'll change once I see one battle after another. All right. What's next?
Oop, hang on. Sorry. Clicked the wrong thing for a second. And I got to do this. Okay. We got Robert, who says, if people are complaining about BND being overcrowded, that's Brand New Day, just wait until Secret Wars. It's honestly ridiculous. We haven't even seen the movie yet.
Again, it's just the basic premise of people forget that just about every movie they watch, if they go to the IMDb page, there's like 40, 50, 60, 70 people in their movie. And we simply do not know how big or small these characters will be. The only difference is that in these comic book movies, we'll recognize the names of these characters, and all of a sudden now it feels more crowded than it actually is. So yeah, that'll work itself out.
All right.
What's next?
We got, lost my place. It bumped up. So Hollow Lord says, hi, John. I've seen Netflix Black Rabbit star Jude Law, Jason Bateman. Pretty good. Watched 3 episodes. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Although it's funny because a buddy of mine texted me and said, hey, Black Rabbit's pretty good. I'm like, which one's that again? Like, it's the Jude Law, Jason Bateman one. I was like, oh, right. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things. And it's definitely the type of show that does interest me. It's just that, again, most of my hours this past week have been driving. Mm-hmm. And then I pull off, make myself something to eat, watch 1 or 2 things, and then go to bed, and then get up in the morning and drive again. That's been my week. And doing the show. Yeah. Pulling off into a Walmart parking lot like I am right now to do the show. So I haven't seen it yet, but I am looking forward to it. But I, like you, what you're saying here, I've been hearing as well that it's actually pretty good. So I'm looking forward to checking it out, because I also love Jason Bateman and I love Jude Law. So it's going to be really interesting to see them in this kind of a show.
I also want to check out The Lowdown on Hulu. That's with Ethan Hawke. Have you seen anything with that? Keith David, Keith David, Ethan Hawke, and my goodness, why can't I think of his name from Game of Thrones? Well, it'll come to me. But either way, it looks really good. All right, so moving on, we've got Henry Lemoyne, who says, hey, John, do you think the standalone Clayface movie will be similar to Joker 2019 origin, showing how he got there, etc.?
Well, I mean, but the big difference is that Joker wasn't how he got there. Joker was a completely separate standalone thing, completely isolated in its own universe where there is no Batman and no anything like that. Clayface is a part of the shared cinematic universe. And we already know it's going to be about his origin story. Like, we know that. It's going to be a body horror film. How they're going to integrate that, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be very different from Joker, because again, Joker was not a part of a shared cinematic universe. And by the way, once you watch the Joker 2, Folie à Deux, you know that isn't even Joker anyway. Joaquin Phoenix was never the Joker in the first place. So there's that too. All right. What's next?
We got a few more here. Mike Cat says, since 2013, your shows get me through the weeks.
Thank you so much. You know, one of the really overwhelming things about doing the movie meetups has been how many people, and this is like incredibly touching, how many people come up to me and say some version of, I went through a really tough period in my life, and our show was the one constant for me that was always there, that I knew that I wouldn't have to think about how crappy things were for a couple of hours. And that is one of the greatest things about movies and the communities that talk about them. Mm-hmm. You know, I always say that is that movies aren't an escape, but they're an oasis. They give us a break to, no matter how bad and crappy things are going on in our lives. And I can only speak for myself, that movies and conversations about movies offer us a break, to give our minds an opportunity to just reset a little bit, refresh a little bit. And I always say this, when we come out of a movie or coming out of a conversation about movies, our problems are still there. Just hopefully we're in a little bit better of a position to deal with them when we do. And that's one of the great things about movies. And so I've always been overwhelmed when people come up to me and say, I just had somebody come up to me at one of our most recent ones and said they were in hospital for a while with cancer treatments. And thank goodness they are in remission now, but that they were in the hospital for X number of months, cancer treatments. And they said, your show got me through every day. And it's like, that's amazing to hear, but it's also an amazing testament to the power of movies and the powers of the communities, not just ours, but all communities that talk about them. And so thank you for sharing that, man. I really appreciate it. All right. What's next?
X-Men Superfan is back and says, would you be open to an Apollo or Midnighter project at DC? If so, who would you cast?
No X actor and X role ideas on that. Listen, it's James Gunn. I'm open. Listen, this is a guy who did Polka Dot Man. This is a guy who did Ratcatcher 2. This is a guy who did Starro and King Shark and made them emotionally deep and gave them resonance and all that kind of stuff. So I am open to any character from the DC universe that James Gunn wants to do, because he's absolutely done Stranger Than those two. So I have no reason to believe he couldn't do great again.
All right.
I think we're down to our last one today.
Last one. Yep. Jesus says, hi, John. Big fan since the AMC days. I keep seeing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I keep seeing the Snyder Bros complain about the DC universe. How long do you think they'll keep doing this?
As long as they have tears and as long as they have breath to cry. Again, listen, there are movies I like and movies I dislike, but I do not like or dislike any movie based on a manifesto. Like, I am not allowed to dislike this and I am not allowed to like this. Just in principle, I'm supposed to say I love it or I'm supposed to hate it.
Right.
There are things DC's done that I dislike greatly. There are things that Marvel's done that I dislike greatly. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff that I really hated. And there's a lot of DC, Marvel, and Star Wars stuff that I've loved. And it's important to understand, I keep trying to remind people of this. There's a difference between people who are fans of Zack Snyder, because I am a fan of Zack Snyder. Like, let's take the Rebel Moon movies out of it for a second, okay? Let's just take those out of it. There's only ever been one Zack Snyder movie I didn't like, and that was Sucker Punch. I think most people don't like that one. I have either liked or loved everything else Zack Snyder has done. I think he's one of the most gifted and talented visual storytellers that we have in the business, and I look forward to seeing everything he does. Unless they make another Rebel Moon, I won't look forward to that. But I bring that up to re-emphasize the point, is that there is a difference between the Snyder bro and a Snyder fan. The majority of Snyder fans are not Snyder bros. Snyder bros are these little agenda-driven, fanatical, loudmouth group that just have an agenda to hate anything that's not Zack Snyder's DC. And it doesn't matter if he puts out the greatest movie of all time, they're going to say they hate it. And they're going to whine about it and cry about it no matter what.
Yeah. And
I just think it's unfortunate that a lot of other people in fandom will confuse just regular, legitimate Zack Snyder fans with being Snyder bros. Right. And they're not. The Snyder bros are a small, loud, whiny, smelly group that should just be ignored. There's a much bigger and healthier group of Zack Snyder fans that just really appreciate Zack Snyder's work and are also open to appreciating other work as well. Not everything will work for them and not everything won't, but they go into it with an open mind. And that's the majority of Zack Snyder fans. The little Snyder bro sect cult is irrelevant, but they'll as long as they have tears to cry, they'll keep crying. And is that it?
That's it.
All right, guys, and that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show, my final installment, at least on this leg of the movie meetup tour that I'll be doing from the van. I should, as long as everything goes well with my drive home tonight, knock on wood. I should be back in studio tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions. Number one, because you gave us interesting things to talk about, but number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
All right, see you guys later.
And big thanks, of course, to all of you for spending time with us here today. I really appreciate it. That's it for now, guys. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.